There is a common refrain amongst modelers these days, and that is, well, we're living in the golden age of modeling. And yeah, perhaps that's true. But when modelers talk about this, well, they're most likely talking about the number and quality of the kits themselves. Have we ever stopped to think about and notice the golden age of modeling glues, the variety that's available? Whereas we can find the perfect glue for the situation at hand, well, that is truly the golden age of modeling. Well, let's take a closer look at the golden age of modeling cements. In the yellow cap, we have extra thin quick cement. The orange cap is extra thin cement. And then we have with the white cap plastic cement in a standard density. Well, what are the differences between these varieties? Well, let's take a little closer look. The commonality between all types of liquid cement is that they basically melt the plastic between the two halves, and when joined together they form a new bond, and that's why the plastic is so securely glued together. The differences between these cements is the viscosity, or in terms of the orange and the yellow cap, the drying times. After application, 15 seconds, and the extra thin fast dry, well, that's dry to the touch. 30 seconds, the orange capped extra thin cement, that is now dry to the touch. However, even after a few minutes of drying time, the liquid cement still has not completely cured. It still has a liquid nature to it, almost like a gel. And this is part of the nature of the liquid cement. It is more of a gap filling type of cement, does not have that capillary action. Of course, the real test of any cement is, does it actually glue the plastic parts together? So let's give it a try here on some test pieces. I'm going to take advantage of the capillary action in this first experiment with the extra thin. On the yellow capped fast dry, I'm just going to touch the glue next to the parts and allow the glue to be transferred underneath. And as you can see, it takes no time at all before I have a firm fit. Of course, with the extra thins, we can also use it in a more traditional method, which is to apply it to one surface or another, or perhaps both, and then connect the two parts together, as I'm doing here. Almost instantaneously, we have a nice fit. It's going to hold in place. Give it a few minutes, as I said, about 30 seconds, and that will be secure as well. And then finally, the white capped plastic cement. Well, this is meant to be more of a flat surface, or maybe even a gap filling type of a liquid cement. The process is the same. It still melts the pieces of plastic, the two halves of plastic together, but there is no sort of capillary action. It is much too thick or viscous to allow it to travel. Well, that was all fun and good, but let's see how the glues work and the applications we can have with them on real model parts. Of course, the goal here is to try the glues on different types of scenarios, different situations, different parts, and see what type of glue is best for your needs and your situation. In this first example, we'll use a gun barrel. And a gun barrel, the two halves of a gun barrel, are quite a challenge for many armor modelers in order to get that alignment correct and hold it in place while the glue dries. And so for this instance, I want to use the yellow cap quick dry cement. Once I have the alignment correct, I can just add a little bit of glue into the seam, allow the capillary action to draw the glue down the barrel. Just a light press with my fingers, and we're ready to move on. The process continues. We can just add another drop or two of glue along the seam line, allow the capillary action to draw the glue down, slight press with our fingers just for a few moments, and then we're ready to continue modeling. In other instances, the capillary action of the thin cements is not necessary, or perhaps it's not even desirable. Horizontal surfaces are a perfect example of this situation. For these road wheels, I can just add a couple of drops of the liquid cement to the centers, align the tabs, press, and move on. Aircraft modelers, of course, are familiar with the challenges of gluing the fuselage together. In this situation, we could use the different types of glues to our advantage to make this task much easier. Similar to our earlier example with the gun barrel, we can use the fast dry cement here to quickly and easily align the fuselage. A couple of drops of glue, capillary action will take the glue down the seam line, and then just a firm press with your fingers for just a few moments, and we're ready to move on. It's at this point we could change to the extra thin orange cap, which has a longer drying time. This slower curing cement will ensure that we have enough time to make sure that all the parts are perfectly aligned. On the rear stabilizer, one can use the liquid cement and take advantage of its slow cure and even gap filling capabilities. Liquid cements are on every modeler's workbench. Matter of fact, we couldn't even build our models without it. that's probably why we take it for granted. But it's good to know that we do have different alternatives to our modeling needs. So take some time and find the cements that work best for you.